Hey guys, so today this is your first being in the car hanging out with, this is McKenna.
Hi guys.
McKenna and I were chatting last week because McKenna is my social media manager. She's so much more than a social media manager though, because she also takes care of Ink Club. Like, she's really kind of the force behind Ink Club. And she was up, we were working on a bunch of stuff, and we started talking about university graphic design. And I did not know this when I hired McKenna, but she has a graphic design degree.
Yeah, I do.
Which is so crazy because she's my social media manager, and you do definitely use it.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be really fun for the two of us to really talk about what happens in a university setting. And so you're not just taking my word for it as a university professor and someone who has been to school for a long time, but like for someone who's actually had a graphic design degree.
Yeah, and it's pretty fresh. I graduated 2 years ago, so.
That's so crazy. And she's pregnant. At the time of filming this, she's pregnant. Yes. So she won't be around for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, but so we've been trying to get ahead. It's been kind of nuts. Okay, McKenna, let's talk about, I don't even know what questions to ask you. Like, we need to compare notes on what your graphic design degree looked like as someone who took it versus me, who's a professor trying to teach it. So like, what did you do?
I think for the most part, it was just a lot of critique. Pretty much all of it was critique, I felt like, which is good. But like we have talked about, it's just all theory, per se, and you know, like the principles and everything like that. But I don't know if coming out of college I was prepared to be a designer. I think like I could do design work, but I think that was what, when I came out of college, I didn't think I could be a designer even though I had a graphic design degree. So I think that was an interesting thought for me, and maybe one reason why I didn't jump right into graphic design right off the bat from graduating college, because I had been doing social media work for a long time all through college, and I just kind of kept doing that because I felt like I was lost still when I came out of my degree on how to get started with it.
Yeah, so like, what was like the thing that made you lost? Because if you actually felt like, did you have a portfolio, I'm assuming? Yeah, because we always made sure our graphic designers had a portfolio coming out. So you felt confident in the portfolio work?
Yes, I felt confident in the portfolio work. I think it was just a matter of I had no idea where to turn.
Look for a job?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or like, I guess a job like an industry job, like a agency job, like that was really pushed really hard. And
agency work was pushed.
Agency work
that's the opposite of that. My university, we pushed a lot of corporate work.
Yeah.
And I think it's because 3M and Target were in town, so like you'd want to go work for one of these bigger entities. But that's interesting, the agency work.
So agency work was pushed really hard, and if you were going to do an internship, it was always through an agency. And then, but if you didn't want to do an agency job, then that was where it was really confusing to know. And all the professors that were in our department, they all worked in agency jobs aside from teaching.
So that's what they knew.
So that's what they knew, and I just felt like there was like a lack of both sides.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't interested in doing agency work. So.
Well, and I'm guessing part of the reason they did agency work is because they were teaching, right? So they could do both. If you work for corporate, that is a 9 to 5 or more, right? Because you're like doing design work around for a specific company, and then you get really specialized knowledge, I think, in that corporate structure about what's happening. In a specific
area too. You know, you do fabric design, and that was something that I was always interested in. I had no idea like where to go for that at all.
Even start. Yeah. And I think that's really, really typical. Would you have done the graphic design degree again?
Yes, I think so, because for me now, looking back on it, it was really applicable for me. Like, I have a sister that is a teacher, a high school teacher, and then my other sister is a nurse. And, you know, now that they have kids and everything, they just don't have a lot of options, which I do recognize that my graphic design degree gave me so many options of what I could do. Because like you said, I still use my design degree in what I do now, even though I'm not strictly working in graphic design. So I think it was a really valuable experience and a good degree for me to pick because I'm a creative person. And I think just like straight college for teaching or nursing or math or science or something like that wouldn't have been a good fit for me. So I think it was the right decision for me moving forward. But I think when I graduated, I just didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. But you can see, I can see your design background when you're putting together like our posts. Like, you know, if you've got a square and you're working a square, like you're always like the diagonals there, the focal points there, we've got movement. So
Which I don't even think about.
Yeah,
you know, it's
you
so
don't think about
natural.
once you've done a degree of some sort. And that's one of the things we hope in a year, like instead of doing it in 4 years, that people are doing in our design program.
Right.
So what do you think about our design program versus the graphic design degree? I'm actually curious.
So I think the biggest thing for me is that the design program connects the people, like makes connections for them. And I just look at it, and that's why I felt like I was lacking. Like I networked with my professors, I, you know, met their friends and like would go to their activities and things like that. But I didn't feel like it was like an open book, and it was so competitive, you know, like of the however many kids were in the graduating class, it was like maybe only one or two felt like they really networked and connected with the person that they needed to. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed about the design program is you just have so many connections that are linking people to so many different specialties. So that's like the main thing that I noticed. But then,
and do you feel like it's competitive? Because I don't feel like it is.
No, that's the other thing I was going to say. I just feel like there's a sense of community about it. It's just that it just seems easy for everybody to just support everybody and just like, you know, I mean, obviously in college too, you're all, you know, 20 something and you're all think that like there's this scarcity out there. But in the program, I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah, I don't either. And I was worried about that. I will be honest. Like I was worried, like if I send everybody to this shop, are they going to all feel competing? And what I found is actually the opposite, because then people can compare their numbers. They can see how much they're making. They can see how many designs they have up. And we have lots of marketplaces that they can all put stuff in, and everybody's always in a different mix. Like it's like a different person. Like someone will be in these two stores, someone else will be in these two, and maybe they'll overlap one store.
Right.
And so it just feels a lot more fluid and less competitive.
Yeah. And I think there is just that, you know, not that mindset of scarcity, because they're all doing, you know, the contract working and things like that, where they know that if it doesn't work out here, it's still going to work out there. And I felt like in college, that was something that I didn't feel like. I felt like if it didn't work out for you here, then your options are limited.
Oh, you're just done.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you think some of that comes with age though as well?
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
And just like perspective too, because I've only been graduated for 2 years, but now I see that there's like so many opportunities out there, and I have friends that don't even have that much experience that have had bigger opportunities in design just because they've stuck with it, and they've just been able to pick up these opportunities. So I think that just as time goes on and you are more seasoned as a designer and you just, you know, get these wins and these experiences, it just works out and it builds your confidence.
I'm so glad you said that, because so often I see our designers in our program, and the first year is hard. Like it's always hard, period. It doesn't matter whether you're an actual program or like a graphic design college program, or if you're in like our program or you're doing it on your own. I think the first year is tremendously hard. It just is. And finding kind of your stride and what to do. Of course, we try to fast track you in our program to make it easier. But I think the thing that you said is sticking to it. I think the right opportunities come to the people who stick to it. And that's the thing I see over and over and over again. And it might not be the exact, I mean, we have someone in the program who ended up with a design business job. Like she wanted to build her own business, but then like 9 months into it, she got a job actually as a designer, which I was like, sweet. Like you're really making money.
Like even my job before working for you, I was working with Silhouette, and my graphic design degree was a huge play in that because it's a creative business. And so they were interviewing all of these social media marketing people, and I was the only one with a graphic design degree. And quite honestly, they were like, I don't even know why we interviewed you, because everybody else had a marketing degree. But they interviewed me, and I mean, they just said that I was the clear candidate. And it just, I think, being a creative person just gives you so many opportunities in so many different industries.
That is so true. And it gives you a skill set. Like, I mean, I didn't realize you had a graphic design degree, but for me, like, skill set is everything, because you can teach a lot of other things, right? You can teach people how to post, you can teach people like a lot of things on social media or other areas, but you can't teach people to make things look good sometimes. Like, you know, I mean, just like there's some natural skill sets, or I wasn't going to teach you Illustrator or Photoshop, right? Like, and you just know them, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I've actually thought that when you're like, oh, just open it in Photoshop and do that. I'm like, wow, it's a really good thing I know how to do that.
It's true, isn't it? And we have several people on our team, like I would say half our team knows how to use Illustrator and Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a requirement, but it's just like, we're a creative company.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense that if you're in my company, you probably have an idea of how to do some of these things.
Right.
I was just thinking, it's really like half of us.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's really nice.
It is nice, especially when we're sending files around, right? So interesting. Well, this has been kind of fun. We should have you on more often.
Yeah, hopefully you guys will see me again.
McKenna, thanks for coming. And you guys, if you are thinking about coming into a design program, you're interested in, you know, what those first steps are, come check us out in a design boot camp. I think if you really choose to take something away from something as inexpensive as a boot camp, is that you can really make some steps forward and have some action steps, which people, like, they don't want to implement. I want you to be an implementer. You're going to defy what's going on out there in this supposedly saturated market. It's not, you guys, because no one's doing anything. The people who are taking action and are going big, they're the ones winning. So I hope I get to see you in a design boot camp. We'll give you the link here and in the description, and we'll see you guys soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.